Mustang will be inbound. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the P-51 Mustang, as you see it diving in from the right now, let's just listen to this. Listen to this engine. The P-51 Mustang was actually developed for the Royal Air Force, not the American Army Air Force. It was back in 1940, prior to the United States entry into World War II, that the British Purchasing Commission approached North American Aviation's president, Dutch Kindleberger, and said, Dutch, we want you to build some P-40 Warhawks for us under license. Let me explain how that came about. Before we got into the war on the 8th of December of 1941, we were supplying Harvard trainers, or North American Texan trainers, which the Royal Air Force called Harvards, to the Royal Air Force and Royal Canadian Air Force as advanced trainers. The Royal Air Force really liked the way that North American did airplanes. They were also using Curtiss P-40 Warhawks alongside the Royal Air Force Hawker Hurricanes and Supermarine Spitfires. And they needed more fighters, and they thought North America could take care of that. Well, Dutch Kindleberger, when they came to him and said, we want you to build a Curtiss airplane under license, he said, no, we want to build our own airplane, give us 120 days. And believe it or not, in 120 days, an airframe very much like the one you see before you now was delivered to the Royal Air Force. Some books say 117 days. It had in it the same power plant as the P-40 Warhawk. It was an Allison V12 liquid-cooled engine. But in the Mustang, it did not perform well enough at altitude. And so, the Royal Air Force took a V12 Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Let's listen again. They took a Rolls-Royce V12 Merlin engine, the same type that was used in their Supermarine Spitfires and Hawker Hurricanes, put it in a Mustang, and the Mustang, as we see it now, was born. Over 15,000 were built during World War II by North American Aviation. About 160 remain flyable today. As Ryder Corrigan comes by in the Star Force Base of 16 and this Snodgrass does a beautiful barrel roll over field center right on the top of the great picture down here. 1% of the Mustangs that were built, approximately, remain flyable today. And Dale Snodgrass is one of the handful of people in the country qualified to fly the Cadillac of the sky. Let me tell you a little bit about the pilot of the P-51 Mustang. He's a retired Navy captain. He retired from the Navy in 1999 after a distinguished career. One of the #1 Tomcat pilots, F-14 Tomcat pilots anywhere. Here comes Zeke Skilsky from Langley Air Force Base in the F-22 Raptor. You can wave at him as well. What a great sight it is. And Snort Snodgrass was the 8-point hesitation award. Bill Snodgrass was one of the first pilots to go into F-14 Tomcat. For 12 years, Bill Snodgrass corresponding support with the F-14 pilot of the United States Navy, traveling from one coast to the other, for a dozen years. Again, to the left, it comes out of San Diego Pass. Now you see how low aviation aficionados may remember a picture on the internet that showed up a number of years ago and has been circulated around several times of an F-14 Tomcat in night beds from 90 degrees worth of bank right next to an aircraft carrier. That aircraft carrier was the Stennis. Now get your cameras ready. You've got to come in low to the right. This will be a photo pass. He'll be banking sharply so you can hit right down into the office. Over your shoulder to the right, here comes Snort. 1,700 horsepower. The Packard-built, Rolls-Royce designed Merlin engine. When we get back to that picture of the aircraft carrier Stennis and the Tomcat at 90 degrees of bank going by, the bottom of the right wing was actually obscured by the deck of the carrier. It was so low. And it said in the caption of that picture that the pilot was grounded for 30 days because of that incident. But that's not the case. It was an air show at sea for sailors and their families and their dependents. And the pilot of that particular F-14 Tomcat was none other than the man who was going on the right Glamorous Gal, who at that time was in charge of all the F-14 Tomcats in the Navy. And he rolled that guy down and spins the landing gear, and he'll be coming to land in just a moment. Some of you have asked over the time, over the course of several seasons, what are those stripes on the airplane? The stripes were painted on all Allied aircraft prior to the June 6, 1944 D-Day invasion of the German troops at Normandy, France. And it was done to all of our friendly aircraft, all Allied aircraft, so that they would not be shot down by friendly fire from the ground or from the air in the dogfight. And that's why those stripes are there. They are known as invasion stripes. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause for the pilot of the Baranaskas. Snodgrass. North American aviation has been responsible for so much innovation, as have so many of the companies that have been responsible for developing the latest in technology. With a liquid-cooled engine, this P-51D Mustang has to have a radiator. And so they put this tube on the bottom, designers fearing that it would not have enough, that it would actually cause drag and slow the airplane down. But the way the air flowed through that, into that scoop and out the back actually gave it a few pounds of jet-like thrust. They called it Meredith effect, and it actually speeded up the airplane. At the top of that scoop, there's a little separation of about an inch from the bottom of the fuselage, and that same piece of 1940s technology has been carried into the United States Air Force's F-16 Fighting Falcon many